Hi guys, it's Sam and I am here today with another tag video and a channel update. So today's tag is going to be the 25 bookish things tag, which is going to be 25 book-related facts about myself, which was a lot harder to come up with than one would think, actually. But I will get to that tag after my little channel update. So it's not too big of an update. So I just decided for my channel that I've been kind of posting videos erratically, just kind of whenever I feel like it, but I decided I want to be more on a schedule. So I've decided that I'm going to be posting videos for the time being on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and perhaps Saturday or Sunday, just depending upon how my week is going and what videos I have and stuff like that. I'll just decide when I get to the weekend. But the main days I'll be posting videos from now on will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so keep your eyes out for that. I just decided to have it more on a schedule. It just felt more comfortable, and I like order because I'm a little type A that way. I like things to be ordered and organized, and I didn't really much care for how sporadic I was doing things, and so I just decided to put myself on a schedule. So yeah, just look out for Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and perhaps Saturday and Sunday a new video. So that was it for my little channel update, and now on to the book tags. So for the 25 bookish things tag, I was tagged by Sarah over at Sarah's Sunbeams, and I will link her channel down below so you guys can go and check her out because she is pretty cool and has some really good videos. It was pretty surprising how difficult it was to come up with 25, but I did it. So let us get cracking. So for fact number 1, the book that got me into reading was The Big Friendly Giant by Roald Dahl. I really didn't like reading before that point. Don't really know why, I just didn't. But one day I checked out the BFG, The Big Friendly Giant, from the library. The rest is history. I think I was 9, 8 or 9 at the time. I think I was 9. Pretty sure I was 9. That was the first book I stayed up past my bedtime to read, and it just opened up a whole new world to me. I finally got it. I finally got why my parents and my sisters all like to read and what they had been telling me, why reading was so great, and yes. Thank you, Roald Dahl, for writing The Big Friendly Giant, because that's what got me into reading. Fact number 2 is when I was 12, I tried to make The Lord of the Rings into a play because my parents had just had me read them when I was 11. I was so into The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It wasn't even funny. I loved those books. And I decided that it would be super awesome to put a play on. And I was going to write out the scripts and everything. I even got like cardboard and other craft things to make sets. And I was going to get my sisters to help me act out the play for our parents. And then I discovered that writing out those books into a play was going to be a lot harder than I anticipated, particularly because I didn't want to cut anything out, and the feat would be impossible. Yeah. So I stopped, but I had, prior to that, made swords. I made Sting, and then the swords Merry and Pippin, and them used. And I was quite proud of those. I had fun with those for some time. Number 3. I was super into Harry Potter, obviously, as a lot of people were, but the books kind of came over to America when I was about 10, 11, and I read them when I was 11, 12, and I was super, super into them. It was only the first 3 books that were out, and I adored them, and I really, really, really wanted to go to Hogwarts, like, really bad. I'm sure, like, everybody did. And my sister, when I was 12, that Christmas, she had given me the Harry Potter stationery set. Yes, I still have it, and this is prior to the movies, so it's like the original, like, Harry Potter merchandise based on the books. Well, in this stationery set, it came with some Hogwarts paper. I don't know if you can see that, but I still have a couple sheets left. And so I decided that I was going to take this Hogwarts paper and my Harry Potter envelope, and I took a green pen and I wrote myself a letter to Hogwarts. I copied it out verbatim from the book, addressed my name on the envelope, and I kept it with me and pretended that I had been accepted into Hogwarts, even though I knew I was living a lie. Yeah, I still have a stationery set. It's one of my favorite Harry Potter merchandise things that my sister gave me. Oh, look, it came with stickers. Apparently I used all the stickers. 12-year-old Sam wasn't thinking about future Sam, and perhaps I would have liked to still see those stickers. Fact number 4. My library knew me by sight. I was so into reading. I was always checking out tons of books in the library, and I would get super impatient while I waited for my books to come in, because you know how you can check them out from other libraries if yours doesn't have it. I would call them and be like, oh, is my book in yet? Is my book in yet? Because I really wanted to read it. And it got to the point one day where I walked through the library doors, and by the time I got to the counter, my books were on the counter because they saw me and they knew what I was in for. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm quite proud of that fact. Number 5, my favorite genres are fantasy, classics, and nonfiction. Number 6, my most embarrassing unread book is or book series is probably going to be the City of Bones, all those Cassandra Clare books, because everybody's always talking about them and how awesome they are, and I haven't read one. Not one. I own the first one, and I own the first one in the Infernal Devices series trilogy, but I haven't read any of them. It's gonna happen. I promise. Fact number 7. I physically cringe when people say they hate reading. I know I get this look on my face of utter disgust because I just cannot imagine not liking to read, and it just crushes my little soul. Fact number 8. My favorite position to read in is on my stomach. It's always been my favorite way to read, but I'm getting old now and it kills my back, which makes me very sad because I miss reading on my stomach. I still do it sometimes, and then I immediately regret it when I cannot stand up straight because my lower back is screaming in pain and agony. Number 9, my favorite snack to eat while I'm reading is candy. Particularly gummy candy like Swedish Fish. Not so much chocolate because then, it kind of gets a little melty and it can get in your book and stuff. That annoys me. But gummy candy like Swedish Fish and Haribo raspberries, those are some of my favorite reading candies. Delicious. Number 10, it takes me about an average of 45 seconds to read a page. I know this because I've timed myself. Of course, it will vary by page size, font, and what type of genre I'm reading. It's going to take me a little bit longer with a classic, but in general I average between 45 to 50 seconds per page, which is probably slow compared to some other people, but I'm satisfied with it. Number 11, I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction before writing fan fiction was cool. That's my hipster fact. When I was, 12, 13, I didn't really write it out, it was more in my head, but when I read the books when I was 11, 12, and only the first 3 were out, it was still another 2 years before the 4th one came out, and it's so on and so forth, between 4 and 5 and 5 and 6 and 6 and 7. And between when those books would come out, I would imagine what was going to happen in the next book. And with the 5th book, I got really, really close because I remember imagining that people were going to come and pick Harry up from the Dursleys and bring him to the Burrow to keep him safe from Voldemort, and it happened. It played out. I was like psychic. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it wasn't the same people I imagined bringing him to the Burrow, and he didn't actually go to the Burrow, but it was pretty dang close. So, yes, I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction in my head. I guess I thought about Harry Potter fan fiction. I don't know. It's not really writing. What do you call that? Fact number 12. I was in something in school called Junior Grade Books in grade school, which basically meant that I was an advanced reader, but I didn't fit into the 3 sections that were in the class. So in grade school, you would be in level 1, level 2, or level 3, but I had passed level 3. And so those of us who had passed level 3, when you were supposed to be reading, went with another group with other kids from other classes, and you were part of junior grade books, and you would read higher level books, basically. Although I remember hating it, because at that point I didn't really like reading yet, and I just sort of felt like the odd man out. But, it was, still something I am now proud of. Fact number 13, every Christmas until about 7, 8 years ago, we read on Christmas Eve before we went to bed A Christmas Carol, my family and I. We would take turns reading certain chapters out of the book, and then we would go to bed. And it is still today one of my favorite traditions from my childhood. I loved that part. I liked hearing the Christmas Carol every year and being excited for Santa Claus to come and staring at the tree while I listened. So yeah, basically I was reading Charles Dickens when I was like 8 and 9 because we all had to take turns reading it. Fact number 14, some of my favorite authors include Michael J. Sullivan, Tamora Pierce, Charlotte Bronte, Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, Alison Croghan, and Sherwood Smith. Just some of them. There are many others, but those are some of my favorites that are coming to my mind right now. Number 15, my favorite beverage while reading is coffee. Number 16, a book that really creeped me out was Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, I think is how you say his name. Forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. It creeped me out. The scene where he's killing the woman with the axe, I read right before bed. I don't recommend. I was really disturbed by that book. It's a really interesting book, and I mean, he wrote it right after surviving a firing squad in Russian prison, so I think that kind of explains some of the darkness of the book, but at the time when I read it, I think I was 16 or 17. It really creeped me out. Yeah. Fact number 17, I hate writing. Yes, I knew that from a very young age. I like to read. I do not like writing. Fact number 18, if I hear a song that I really like at the same time that I'm reading a book I really like, I forever associate that song with that book. For instance, Blue Dabba Dee by Eiffel 65 I will forever associate with Harry Potter because I was really into that song when I was 12. At the same time, I was really into Harry Potter. So they just kind of go hand in hand now. So when I hear that song, I immediately think of my childhood in Harry Potter. It's really random, and let me know if I'm not the only one that does this. If you do this too, let me know, because I feel like it's kind of weird, but I'm okay with that. Fact number 19, I consistently stay up way past my bedtime in order to read. Like, way past my bedtime. Like, there's been some times where I've been up until 1:30 on a work night, and I have to get up at 6, and I immediately regret that decision the next morning. And then I vow not to do it that night, and then I do it again, because apparently I don't learn. You know, I can't help myself. Fact number 20, I consistently stare at my books for long periods of time, because they are beautiful, and I can't help but stare at them in all of their glory. Fact 21, when I absolutely love and adore a book so much, I will do everything I can to convince everyone around me to read them, because I want them to share in my love and passion for that book. Fact number 22. When I was 12, I tried to write a book. I wrote 1 chapter, or maybe it was 2, and then discovered I hate writing. So that's probably when it all started. I'm like, nope, not for me. Fact 23. The first book I ever cried at was Little Britches by Ralph Moody. It was a memoir of sorts, an autobiography, but it was made for kids. It was this guy who basically detailed his life from the turn of the century until the 50s, I think, and he worked on ranches and stuff. And the first book, Little Britches, was when he was a child, and something very, very sad happened that I wasn't expecting, and I remember that was the first time I'd ever cried at a book. Fact number 24, The Lord of the Rings got me into fantasy. My parents had me read them when I was 11, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, because my dad had always loved those books, and he got my mom to read them, and myself to read them, and my one sister to read them. My older sister still hasn't read them, though we keep trying to convince her to read them. And yes, that was many years before the movies ever came into existence when I read them. So yeah, that's my other hipster thing. I read The Lord of the Rings before it was cool. What got me into fantasy? I love those books. Oh, I wanted to be an elf so bad. So bad. And finally, fact 25. I have already planned out in my head what I want my future library room to look like. It will have a bay window with seats and cozy little blankets and pillows. It will have a fireplace. It will have floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. And it will be glorious and gorgeous. And there'll be cozy chairs and oh, it'll be beautiful. Alright guys, those were 25 bookish facts about myself. I am going to tag Carla, Sabrina, Casey, and Samantha. And I'll link all their channels down below so you guys can go and check them out. And I can't wait to see what your guys' facts are about yourself. And so yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you liked, please thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, happy reading and bye. I decided to make a video, a message to book borrowers, because they need to be aware of our concerns.